What's good, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. I am excited today to show you my favorite way to ball on a budget. So, for those of you who don't know, I migrated over to PTCG Live during the beta. Not the best move, but essentially, you know, I live with that choice. And I decided to start over on PTCGO. Starting from ground zero, I went with single strike Urshifu. Another thing to note with the IRL price of the deck, I think I paid maybe $41 Canadian, so about $33 American for everything that I'm going to cover today. But essentially, single strike Urshifu is one of my favorite ways to play. It's very, very fun, and it is a great time. So with that, let's jump in. So what's single strike? So single strike is one of the battle styles that was introduced during the 2021 year. So there's single strike, there's rapid strike, and there is fusion strike. Single strike is built primarily around single strike energy. So this card can only be attached to single strike Pokemon, but as long as it's attached, it's a fighting or dark energy and provides 20 more damage. So these do stack. If you put 2, 3, or 4, you are doing anywhere from 40, 60, 80 extra damage on your, onto the opponent's active with this. Absolutely love it. Provides 2 types which hit about 31% of the weakness in the game. Primary means of acceleration in this deck is Houndoom. It's a stage 1 Pokemon with single strike roar. Once during your turn, you can search your deck for a single strike energy, the one we just talked about, and you can put it on your Pokemon, and if you do, put 2 damage counters on your Pokemon. I know damaging yourself doesn't sound like a great idea. Don't worry, as we get further in, I'll show you why it's not that bad actually, and it can help you in some matchups. And then the way I prefer to play it, because it comes in the deck, and it just has a ridiculous attack. Single strike Urshifu VMAX, the poster boy for single strike. It has 2 attacks. We have beatdown for 3 colorless. The single strike energy can fill that, so just getting 3 of those on, you're doing 160 for 3. Not too bad. Throw the 4th one on there, you're doing 180. You need to wall through something, so Gmax 1 blow does 270 base damage, fighting, colorless. And discard all energy attached to this Pokemon. This damage ignores all effects on your opponent's Pokemon. If there's something removing weakness by a card effect, ignore it. It's going right through. If there's something that says you can't hit this, there was Decidueye, there was Duraludon, there's a bunch of things that say you cannot hit this for X reason. Urshifu does not care. It hits through, and it hits for probably one of the best types to be hitting at the moment. So with that said, let's jump in. So I bought the Single Strike League Battle Deck, which came out late last year. It's a terrific starter product, and it comes with the deck, it comes with a box, it comes with some dice, and it comes with the PTCGO code. The code is what I used for my deck online, but I also built this deck on paper with the cards I'm going to show above. So what you get out of the box is you get a 4/3 of the Houndoom. That's really good. Single prize Stone Journer. In some matchups it's alright. I'm not going to use it. Oranguru, it's a great card, not necessarily in the deck we're going to build today, but next set there's Pickaxe coming, and Oranguru might see some use there. Just something to keep in the binder for later. There are other cards that you might want to do. 2 copies of the Urshifu V, 2 copies of the VMAX. You get your staples, you get 4 Research, 3 Marnie, 2 Boss. Bruno is a single strike card, so when a Pokemon's knocked out, shuffle your hand into your deck, draw 7. But if nothing was knocked out, it's only a shuffle, draw 4. Whatever. You get your 4 Quick Balls, you get your 4 Urns to shuffle 2 of your single strike energy back into your deck. Great. 3 Evolution Incense, search for an Evolution Pokemon. Cool, we're playing Evolution Pokemon here. 2 Switch, an Escape Rope, Ordinary Rod, Tool Scrapper, single Scroll of Scorn. Scroll of Scorn. The 2 of next to the Scrapper and the Tower there. Terrific. So it gives your single strike Pokemon an extra attack. So it says when this Pokemon tool is attached, you can use this attack. So it's for 1 fighting. It does 10 plus 10 times the number of damage counters on your Pokemon. So those single strike roars, you take a hit if you don't get knocked out. I'm telling you, it's great to have a 1 energy attack in this deck. And then you have your 4 single strike energy, you have 4 stone fighting to reduce damage, and then 4 fighting. We're not going to use the stone energy, so we're just going to gloss over those. Alright, so budget upgrades. Just wanted to jump in and maybe clean up some counts. It was a 4/3 Houndoom. I picked up 1 Houndoom. It was about 50 cents. Morpeko. This one here, Explosive Discontent. So It does 30 damage for each damage counter on it. The single strike roar is how you're going to get damage counters on it. So relevant math, if you single strike roar to it twice, that's 160 damage on a Morpeko. So if you're hitting something that's weak to dark, it goes up to 320 damage. If you need to hit something else, like Lumineon or a Crobat, single strike roar twice, attach a third energy, you're hitting 180 damage on a one prize Pokemon. I'm telling you, it's a nice gear to have, the Morpeko, and it is only 30-40 cents per copy, so I picked up 2 of those. Next up, Crobat V. Crobat's very easy to come by these days. It's when you play this card onto your bench, you may draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. It's explosive draw, so you get 1 supporter a turn. Crobat is there just in case we need a little bit more. They were about, I think I paid $3 Canadian, so they can't be that expensive now. I grabbed 1 of those. And then single striker Urshifu V. So I know deck comes with 2. I'm pitching a little more only because single striker Urshifu is a really good Pokemon. And in the matchups that you need it, you really want to see it. So playing a thin count kind of hurts. I grabbed 2 more. I think they were about $1.25 or $2 each. I don't even think they were that expensive. They were rather cheap, honestly. But yeah, so we're bumping it up to a 4 of. And then we're bumping up our boss's orders. We want to be able to pick what we can hit. So we're going to grab 2 more. At this point, they've been printed so many times. 40, 50 cents, even 20 cents. All depends. I opted for, I think, the newest printing of the card, and it might have been 75 cents. So again, we're keeping it cheap. Cynthia's Ambition, probably the best supporter coming out of Brilliant Stars. So draw until you have 5. And if any of your Pokemon were knocked out in this way, you draw until you have 8 cards. So it's like Bruno, but instead we can top up our hand and add to it so we can thin down without having to shuffle anything back. But if we're having something knocked out, which we will with the Morpekos and the Urshifus occasionally, and, you know, the Crobat, whatever, we'll get to draw until we have 8. So, you know, we gotta grab 3 copies there. If you personally want to grab 4 copies, there's nothing wrong with that. I just grabbed 3 for this list, but I have plenty kicking around just in case. So they were about 40 cents each. Ultra Ball. We're playing 3 here, and normally you would run out 4, but we're playing Quick Ball already as a 4 count. So this here is more or less to replace the Evolution Incense in the deck. So discard 2 cards from your hand, search for any Pokemon, basic, starter, whatnot. So it's just more alive. It plays into the Crobat as well as the Quick Ball. So if you're sitting on 3 or 4 supporters opening hand, Ultra Ball, dump them down, grab a Crobat, let's go. I'm just a big fan of this card. I'm still tinkering with counts. I'll probably end up bumping it up to a 4 of at some point. And then Level Ball. So most decks will try to play Capture Energy. You'll see Single Strike everywhere. Single Strike or Capture Energy is nice in that opening turn. After that, it's a dead energy. So I'm playing 4 copies of Level Ball. They were about 30-ish cents a piece, so that's not too bad. 4 of them. Search your deck for a Pokemon with 90 hit points or less. So we're grabbing Morpekos. We're grabbing Houndours. You want to see 2 Houndours minimum every game. Unless you're going second, you want to see them that first turn. So we've got your Quick Ball, 4 Quick Balls, 4 Level Balls, 3 Ultra Balls. So that's 11 outs to find 2 of them. We're not too worried about setting up the Single Strike Urshifu V turn 1. It's those Houndours. Make or break. If you see 1, okay, we can sort of function off that, but you need an energy attachment. But if you see 2, generally this deck can do what it needs to do. So Level Balls, Ultra Balls, and Quick Balls are more playable than Capture Energy, and I will stand on that hill. And then, of course, we have Air Balloon for some rotation. So everything in the deck besides Urshifu VMAX can use this as a free pivot. So we're going to throw 1 in. And then, of course, Choice Belt, the damage modifier. So we are going to hit like a truck and keep hitting. So we're going to double down on our damage. So Choice Belt lets your Pokemon do 30 more damage to your opponent's active V Pokemon before applying weakness. So we're already trying to hit weakness with Dark and Fighting. And we're just going to make sure we can ramp up as quickly as possible. So what's funny? 2 Single Strike Roars and a Choice Belt on a Morpeko knocks out a Genesect. You don't need weakness. You're probably trying to chase the Mew, but I'm just saying we can chase the Crobats, we can chase all those support Pokemon. The other funny one is I've actually snuck up on a couple weaker Pokemon V, where Choice Belt, 3 Single Strike Energy, so 2 Roars and an Attach. You hit 210 damage with 1 prize Pokemon. It's not bad. You don't even have to knock something out because most decks are not playing Sharon or Cheryl. So yeah, it's just great for numbers. So we're gonna throw 2 in there, and this is the list that I morphed into. So I bumped up my Houndours, Houndooms, Bumped up my Urshifu V. Really don't need more than 2 VMAXs. You're going to play your matchup carefully. Some matchups you might not even need it, because the 2-prizer, the single strike Urshifu V for 3 energy, does knuckle impact for 180. So a lot of the times you can kind of trade with your opponent between the V and Morpeko. But the VMAX is there in case you see something that says you cannot hit this Pokemon, because the Urshifu is there, and we're not prizing it. Yeah. If I wasn't worried about prizing, we'd play 1, but I always prize horribly. 2 Morpeko, 1 Crobat. 4 Boss's Orders, want to pick what we're hitting every single time. 3 Cynthia, 3 Marnie. Marnie, shuffle your hand, or put your hand in the bottom of your deck, draw 5 cards, research, discard your hand, draw 7. I just like to play a thicker count. If somebody tries to path to the peak and I'm stuck with just a Crobat, it really does feel bad. 4 Level Ball, 4 Quick Ball, 4 Urns. We're playing a lot of consistency here. Urns, so we can pitch single strike energy with the Quick Balls, Level Balls. We don't, or the Ultra Balls, and we don't mind bringing them back. Choice Belts, Escape Rope. It's like a 5th boss sometimes. It's also like a free retreat, so we can promote something safely if we have it in hand, and then Escape Rope, and then figure out our turn from there. 2 copies of the Scroll. The Scroll is absolutely hilarious, and I'll explain it in the matchup, because a lot of decks still don't see it coming. Scrapper and Jammer are not played very much, so I can get away with it at the moment. You know, I doubt this video. Yeah, anyway. Air Balloon. 2 Tower of Darkness. It's just to bump the stadium for Crobat. Occasionally, let us draw an extra 2 cards. 4 Single Strike Energy and 4 Energy. So we play 4 Fighting Energy, and I know a lot of decks have opted for more Special Energy. If you have to go second and you cannot set up the Houndours, it is absolutely terrific to be able to laser focus into 3 energy and have an attack ready to go if you know they cannot knock you out the coming turn. It makes you less reliant on the Houndour, but it also gives you a plan B going second. So I play the 4, and I think it's more useful. After the first and second turns, it's not as useful, but I'm telling you, it gets around some stuff, and it paid dividends quite a bit. Alright, so gonna jump into the good matchups. So right now, Arceus V-Star is weak to you. If they're not playing a certain card, you just kind of roll through them. You don't even have to play the VMAX, but you could feed them the VMAX when you're trying to take 4 prizes for their, you know, like giving them 3. I haven't seen anybody respect the fighting weakness because of Mew, so I've been taking advantage of it. So it was a really clean matchup most times. You just have to know what you're trading for. Gengar, it's weak to you. You don't have to evolve to knock it out. And if they try to, well, they're usually not playing the single strike engine, so they're capped at 190 and 250. So you can play around those numbers. And you might not even have to single strike roar into your Pokemon. You can let them hit into your VMAX, and you drop the Scroll out of nowheres. Boom, you just return to KO for 1 energy, and you can set up a second Pokemon with your roars and your attachments for turn. Really, really funny. Gengar did not cause me any problems. Jolteon. So this used to be a horrible matchup. So before the introduction of Ultra Ball, you were at the mercy of Jolteon and any other deck that could outspeed you. But what I figured out is, realistically, you want to go first. But if you go second, careful on your bench spots, because you know they're going after the Houndours. But set up laser focus. You can now have 3 energy on you. They might play 1 or 2 copies of Fan of Waves. They're not playing Crushing Hammer. So you have a charged up Knuckle Impact ready with the Urshifu for the following turn. And we play enough boss where we generally see them. And we can usually go boss, knock something out. Or if we're worried about them knocking out the Urshifu in response, we'll evolve it. And then we'll attach a single strike energy, maybe roar to it once, and then drop the Scroll or hit with the beatdown for 160. Like, Jolteon is not as much of an issue as I thought it would be, and if you are worried about it, and Jolteon, you know, Jolteon players are pretty good, throw Manaphy in. Absolutely slows the matchup down greatly. It was a favorite matchup of mine to see. I used to go, oh my god, are we really doing this? No, wasn't an issue. Okay, and then Malamar, this one here. Houndours, Houndooms, Morpekos. Attack first, knock something out first, and go from there. Houndour with a single strike energy will knock out an Inkay, and you just have to keep trading. You have to hit first, knock something out, and usually they don't catch up. Rapid Strike Urshifu, same thing with the Jolteon plan. Yes, they want the Houndours. Guess what? Going second if we have to. Laser focus. Going first, we have 2 Houndours. I really didn't have any issues with that because they can't OHKO your single strike Urshifu, so they hit into it at all and they make that mistake. Generally, you can slap the scroll down. You can knock out the Urshifu VMAX rather easily with the G-Max one blow, but the scroll just lets you take things out for less effort. It's great, and the Manaphy exists if you need it. Alright, the ugly matchups. These are the ones that made me cringe, kind of scream at my keyboard, rage tilts, you know, they happened every once in a while. Arceus V-Star, I know he was on the good matchups. If they're respecting the fighting weakness with Dunsparce, oh god, it's an ugly time. G-Max one blow ignores weakness, but committing 4 energy to knock out a 2-prize Pokemon is absolutely horrible. You can win it, but it's absolutely awful. So, the scroll helps in this matchup, but again, it's a little rough. I'm telling you, take out that stupid Dunsparce with your Morpekos as quickly as possible. Mew VMAX. Okay, I won more of these than I lost in 100 games, but every time I flipped over a Mew, I immediately went into panic because I had to essentially feed them a single strike V on the first turn in order to protect my Morpekos and my Houndooms. But 2 Morpekos in this, essentially you can roar twice to a Morpeko, choice belt, or add the 3rd energy, and you go through the Mew even with your Oricorio. But you really don't want to be doing that because a good Mew VMAX player will take advantage, and it's just a rough game. Like, it's winnable, but it's not one you go, oh boy, I want to see this, because no, you do not. Suicune. Oh god, this is disgusting. This is like a 20% win rate at best. Blizzard Rondo just takes advantage of the fact you want a wide board. You can bench smartly, you can use the scroll, but realistically they're playing sweet Ludicolo, and they can offset anything you don't bench with the Ludicolo's damage, and then all of a sudden you have no setup, and they just roll through you. Avoid that as much as possible. Ice Rider just has the tempo. It's 2 energy. It's doing 250 if it goes first. Going second, you stand a chance, but then you have to kind of take out anything that looks like it's going to VMAX. Again, it was an ugly matchup. I really didn't like seeing it. Probably beat me a few more times than I'd like to admit. So essentially, water matchups, Mew matchups, Dunsparce matchups, they get a little rough. And yeah, that's honestly the face every time I saw those cards when I flipped over, so good luck. So, played 100 games with the deck. Just wanted to test it out before I brought it to you. Again, the matchups I showed were most of the ugly ones. Occasionally PTCGO will give you something jank, and it just absolutely rolls you. So I'm starting a new PTCGO account at the moment, and I started from nothing. So I entered the league code. I had about 8 Brilliant Stars codes, and then I upgraded from there. So these are the rewards I picked up along the way, which I thought was pretty cool. 3 packs of Vivid Voltage, 3 packs of Brilliant Battle Styles, 3 packs of Evolving Skies, and 3 Fusion Strike. These are all locked packs as well, and by completing the Versus Ladder, I ended up picking up quite a few Brilliant Stars locked packs, which was surprising. So about 2,000 points, took me about a week to do, about 100 games. 27 packs. Locked. I mean, it helps. I pulled a lot of Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX, so I guess that's where we're going. But yeah, so Single Strike, you now have the deck. You have the body of the deck. If you want to play it another way, if Single Strike Urshifu VMAX is not your way to play, you know, you say, hey, I want to mix it up. Awesome. There's Gengar, which we've already talked about. Hits great to Dark type, hits Mew, you know, it's a big body. 60 times for each Pokemon V in play. Great. Umbreon VMAX is generally how people like to play Urshifu VMAX. Playing 3 stage 1 lineups in your deck feels horrible. And I know that it's a boss, but it just feels horrible for consistency. But it is there. You can even play it as the face of the deck if you just want to hit with Dark, because Dark is such a good typing right now. Single Strike Urshifu, non-VMAX. So this one hits for Dark, it does 100, and if it has any damage on it, it does an extra 100. So you can go 3 Single Strike Energy, 260, 1 Prizer, Choice Belt, 290, a 4th Energy, 310. Terrific, you're hitting a lot of stuff, and then you're hitting good stuff for weakness. Fun deck. I'm probably going to look at that and maybe cover it over the channel once I get the cards on PTCGO. Hariyama, deck's been performing well at, I believe it was Liverpool. So if the Pokemon were to be knocked out, flip a coin. If heads, it's not knocked out and it has 10 health left. Really annoying. Hits fighting weakness. You can pair it with Morpeko, and then you're off and you're rolling. You're hitting 2 types for 1 prizers. Primate. This one's not good now, but this one is going to be good next set. So Astral Radiance is getting a Stadium card. When you play Pokemon onto your bench, put damage on them. Primeape does 50 damage for each of your bench Pokemon with damage on them. So you're hitting 250 for 2 energy on fighting. 2 single strike energies, 290. Choice Belt is 320. There's a new Stadium card, or new supporter card coming out that's an on-call Leon, so you can grab it whenever you need. And so you're hypothetically hitting 350 reliably. Primeape looks to be good. I would definitely pick it up now and give it a whirl when it comes out. And then Lycanroc. So do you like throwing stuff in your discard pile as fast as possible? Lycanroc could be your deck. 80 plus 10 for each single strike Pokemon in your discard pile. So you have your damage mods, you have your terrific typing, you have your Morpeko. You can scale up. There's a weakness tool coming out that multiplies weakness from ×2 to ×3. So Lycanroc would definitely see play next set. Yeah, so closing thoughts. So with Urshifu, the deck can beat itself. Just gonna get that out of the way now. There's a reason why some people call it single strike pile. You know, you have to get your 2 Houndours turn 1. If you get them, you're rolling. Or if your opponent slow rolls a little bit, you know. But I'm telling you, we play a lot of opening cards to help you get those 2 Houndours. So the options are there, but generally you're fine. The deck can beat itself occasionally, though. It does happen once in a while. It's a terrific beginner deck. Again, I paid $41 Canadian, or about $33 US for the deck. Out of the box, all ready to go. The only thing I needed was a couple Vs, which you could even argue are optional, but a lot of the stuff there, and you have terrific staples that can transfer over to other decks, even if you decide to put down single strike or pick up different styles of single strike. It is a great beginner product. Oh my god. It hits relevant weakness. Fighting and Dark hit for about 31% of all existing cards in the standard format. So 1 in 3, you're hitting something almost. You're hitting a lot of the relevant types. Mew is the king at the moment. Morpeko hits Dark. Arceus is the second contender. You're hitting that for weakness, assuming there's no Dunsparce. Yeah, you're basically playing the weakness game with this deck, and it's a lot of fun if you hit something that's weak to you. And Astral Radiance has single strikes tools. So there's a pickaxe I can cover in another video, but essentially it lets you accelerate fighting energy. There's a supporter that once it's in the discard pile, discard 2 cards from your hand and put it into your hand, and then your fighting Pokemon do an additional 30 more damage when you play it. You also have, what is the other one? There's a few, yeah, so those are the 2 big ones. So the pickaxe, the boots, which is look at the top card of your deck, discard, or add it to your hand, and then the stadium there, or the supporter there. So essentially, there's about 4 good tools I could see from Astral Radiance that you can add into this deck and just kind of improve it. But again, it's still hitting all of those relevant weaknesses. Mew's not going anywhere. Arceus not going anywhere, so they're going to play a little differently. But you can just kind of pick that off as you need. You know, if you're going to see more spread decks, add them the Manaphy. If you're not, double down on those matchups there. And lastly, I just wanted to say, it's fun. If you're not having fun with the deck, please try something else. Like, it's just a card game. I have an absolute blast playing this deck. Setting up the beatdown, setting up the scroll, trying to outprize trade my opponent. There's a lot more thinking to this deck than a lot of people realize. You have to know how to map your prizes, thin your deck. It teaches a lot of concepts, and I mean, it's not hitting 2 things at once, but it's fun. If you're not having fun with it, please, might I suggest something else? I will always advocate for you to play what you actually enjoy, because if you're not having fun, what's the point? And yeah, because at the end of the day, that's all I'm doing. I'm here playing, having fun. I'm here sharing my excitement with you. And yep, that's all you can really do. With that said, if you stuck around to the end, I just want to say thank you. You're the best. And if you enjoy Single Strike, please let me know in the comments below. If you liked what you watched or you stuck around this far, hit that like button. Subscribe would be helpful. And until next time, take care.